What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, J.H. Gibbons.
We'll see.
Welcome to yet another episode of the Acromis Podcast, episode 31. We made it again. Another one.
Another gem on the way.
We're here. This is what we do. Again, we told you we weren't going to leave. We're always going to be here. We're going to continue to keep giving you these gems every single weekend.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's become habitual. It's a part of our life, and it's a part of your life too.
It is,
Yeah. So we're happy to have you here.
Yeah, and look, I mean, life is precious. Life can throw you through loops sometimes. It's unpredictable. And at this moment, I do want to send my thoughts and prayers to the Thomas family. Friend of mine back in high school, played on the football team, real cool dude. I haven't personally been able to chop it up with him for quite some time. But just learned that he passed this week. So just want to send my prayers, my condolences to him and his family. I know how much he was respected. I know how much he was loved, and I know he also has a young daughter. It's really tough, but I just wanted to take this time out to send my thoughts, prayers, condolences. I mean, life is precious. It's unpredictable. It's fragile. It's all of that. So Carl Thomas, man, rest in paradise, brother. Hope to see you again sometime. But I mean, it's been one of those weeks, man. It's been a tough one. Of course, everything that's going around the world and locally. It's been a rough week to get to. But by the grace of God, we're here. We made it. It's another episode. We have another opportunity to spread our word towards you, to continue to build this community up as we promised we would once we started. And we're still here. We're breaking down barriers, we're overcoming them. I mean, we're here now.
Yeah,
we made it again.
Yeah, we're here. I'd like to just give my condolences as well. I didn't know the brother, but I know you and others, good friends of mine, that your hurt is my hurt. My condolences to your family as a father. Condolences to all of you. And as a community, this is what we are, what we give, and give that form of agape love from me. So with you, Jay, here through this process. Appreciate for that. You. Yep. So all the brothers out there that I know that knew him and anyone else. Yep. We're here. It has been, we were just talking about this a little earlier. It's been a tough month. Yeah. For a lot of reasons. Yep. And I think the topic that we're touching base on this week, transitioning from the art of self-love from last week, I think is so important as we're, going to get into addressing overcoming mental barriers and what that's like in different ways.
Right. I think when it comes to mental barriers, we all go through things, right? We all have our struggles. We all have our moments of doubt. We all have those days where we don't feel enough. We don't feel as though we belong. That whole imposter syndrome thing is real, man. There were times, even growing up, where I didn't really feel like I belonged to a group in particular. I felt sometimes like I was just ostracized, like I was on my own island, because I felt like I was just different. Like, there wasn't a specific puzzle that my piece could fit into. And, it wasn't to say that I was better or, anything like that, but I just rocked to my own beat. I was just different. I wasn't, even though I was part of a football team, I wasn't part of the cool kids. Wasn't part of the cool kid crew. We had our own group of friends and we were who we were. I think trying to overcome those mental barriers of not feeling unique enough to belong or special, or like you deserve to be somewhere, whether it's in your personal life or your professional life, I think it could do a number on you mentally. There are only a few ways, a few habits that you can implement in your life to truly get you past that, and to be able to sustain a life where you truly understand that you matter.
Yeah, Jay, I think that's well said. Where I can relate to that as well. I mean, go back to just as a child of your uniqueness and not feeling like you can fully embrace that part or learn more about it because of what others may perceive it to be for you and how they feel about it. And I mean, going as far as like, when I was younger, maybe the way I talk, the way I articulated in a certain way that a lot of people around me didn't. My thought process was definitely well beyond my years, and honestly, at times I was made fun of by more family than people than anything else. To be honest with you,
I mean, the term was what, Oreo? I mean, I can't even remember how many times I've been called Oreo. Black on the outside, white on the inside. For those who don't know, and it's on one end. I mean, just for that part, it's weird to say that because it's almost as though you're saying because you articulate, you speak proper, you're white, right? So what you're doing is you're it's crazy that comparison is out there and something that is like, it's typical, because then it puts your own race down to say that, okay, we don't speak like that, and you don't really belong to this race because you don't sound like how we sound. So it just always, it bothered me more because it's like we're setting ourselves up at a lower bar. Not to say that we have to be at the same bar or higher, but it's like we purposely put ourselves down. We purposely put ourselves in this bubble that we somehow also try to get ourselves out of. So that's a societal thing, and it's much more complicated than that. But just thinking about that Oreo phrase, that term, I just always found it silly because it's like you're putting your own self down by calling somebody else that who shares the same color skin as you do.
Yeah, I think in those moments and those encounters as you're growing up, regardless of the environment, because it happens all over, where you carry those weights, you carry those scars with you, where you feel like an outcast. You feel like the black sheep for your effort, your uniqueness. You feel ostracized just because you are unique in your own way, and you carry that with you. You can, and refer to it from as a child. And for me, when I was a kid, certain environments I grew up was really rough environments. And I went to school, I when I was young, elementary, things like that, straight A student. And I was the kid, I had the big glasses, and a lot of people would be like, like Steve Urkel. And then I was smart. I wasn't like that, like him. Yeah, I wasn't like that, but it was like I did get into a lot of scraps and fights and stuff, and I was always the shortest one, as we know, even still to this day, always the shortest one. So I spent I spent a lifetime trying to prove myself, even in those moments, and I didn't realize what was happening. Then transitioning, as you grow to become a teenager and you start experiencing real life events, and you start, you get backlash, for certain things, like, oh, you trying too hard, you're trying to impress, or you're the golden kid, the golden child, or it's so smart, you think he's so smart. And I'm like, hey, for me, when I was growing up, my mother, when I was young like that, I had homework, but then she would give me her work to do, and a lot of times, like, I would have a dictionary, and I'm reading the dictionary, and I'm learning sentences, I'm learning, the interpretation. My mother would just do the best she thought she can do in that regard. And I thank her to this day for that part of my life, because it did help me be able to articulate and understand things in a way that some people couldn't understand. Even as an adult, they're like, you're very expressive in articulating and giving a good storytelling of what you're trying to get your point across.
Absolutely.
And it started with moments like that, and you build. But what happens is, As we were saying, when you have these events happen and you have these people who point fingers and make you feel less than your worth, it does wear and tear over you with time if you don't have a proper support system of people to, I don't want to say reassure you of who you are, but to understand, because we all go through in our own ways, albeit even with work,
right,
with family, with friends, with in relationships. We all take damage, and we do feel we exert ourselves sometimes. I know for me personally, I can overexert myself and get burnt out, and then that's what all those traumas or those scars of what you had endured comes to the surface, right?
Yeah.
And at that point in place, as I was having a conversation with someone this morning, I was saying, you know what, in those moments, we become our biggest adversary. And there's nothing that no one else could say or do outside of that, in that circle, than you battling yourself and your self-reflection, because then you get to a place where that's where that fight happens, and you fight or flight. Wow. And
why do you think that happens? Because you're absolutely right. Like sometimes you're right. I mean, I'm in a funk sometimes, and it doesn't even matter what somebody else tells you or shows you. It's that belief in self that is going to be the only thing that pushes you through. And sometimes I ask myself, I'm like, man, Jay, you know what you're capable of doing. Like you're awesome, bro. Like do this, do that, get with it. But then sometimes for whatever reason, that self-doubt just creeps in, it puts you, it really does pull you down. It's a strong force that's just like, you're right, those scars come back up, and you kind of whittle down a little bit, and you kind of get put in a box, you get cornered, and you're battling yourself, and there isn't anything anybody else out there could say to really pull you up. You really got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and at least get to a point where you're able to reason with yourself. You're able to take in what everybody else or somebody else has to say about you, positive or negative. So it is an interesting thing to have to go through to get to that point.
Yeah, we talk about this, and we know how honest we are. When we deliver these gems
all the time,
we speak truth, because there's no room for anything else less than that. So it's no secret to a degree. Jay knows this. Like I've been saying, I haven't been feeling my best self lately, and I have made a conscious decision to kind of to isolate myself in certain ways so that I can regroup and identify the areas as to why I'm encountering these mental barriers, because that's what they are.
Yep.
And I've been able to do so in a healthy way. And you ask, why did these things happen? And I can speak from my experiences to I say throughout the period of the last few months, where you recognize red flags or signs in yourself that you might be, as you mentioned, we talked before, the saddle, and you just kind of fall a little bit off the saddle, just a little rattled, and you just keep going, and you keep pushing and riding forward, but you don't adjust yourself, so you might fall off. And for me, I've been pushing really hard and exerting myself to be everything for everyone. To the point that my joy of what I have in me has been given out. And unfortunately, I had encountered certain folks that absorbed it, misused it, that I thought was in my support system. And it happened for what it is, but I realized that it had more to do with whatever they were battling than me.
Right.
But you take the brunt of it. And what happens is you still get hurt in certain ways. And then those scars come back. So for me, certain things were triggers where all that was still there, because it's still raw as you're healing. It doesn't go away, as we discussed before. And it just bubbles up. And if you're not checking it constantly through your affirmations, right? All the work you're putting in, the tools that you have, you're not using it properly, it can get ahead of you, and then you get to a place where you feel depleted and you have nothing in you in the moment. And that's what happened, where I got to a place where I just felt drained. And I was like, man, you know what, this sucks, because I love myself, and that's the thing, I love myself. I'm taking care of myself enough in a way where I recognize what's happening, but am I putting myself first in this manner? Am I protecting my state of being? Am I following my affirmations? Am I trusting in my faith? No. So I got to a place where it started getting hard. So now it's like, and I say this and share my story with others that's feeling that right now, because I've spoken to so many different people personally that I know that is in this weird funk. And it's because, like, at the end of the day, it's growth, right? So I'm realizing that, like, you know, in order to get through this part, you have to embrace the not so great parts of you. You've got to face that person in the mirror and say, hey, it's okay to not be okay, but going to work to figure this out and going to use the tools that have developed, because I know it will be okay. But I have to take the stepping stones to get there. And in order to do that, I have to be honest. I have to be raw. I have to let the emotions be whatever they are. So if there's an emotional moment, let it be what it is. If there's a moment of me doubting what it is, figure out why you feel like that, because you know you're great. You know you are these things, just like you said earlier, Jay. It's a matter of when those voices that tell you no, you question it and you fight that part of it. You question it with a why. Why not you? Why must I feel this way? It's a choice. And I think what happens is we harbor on to our yesterday. We harbor onto that trauma and we give it power it should not have, rather than be in our now, which is what we have. And I know for me, that's what was happening. I start reflecting on certain parts of, like, trauma, like, dang it, like, I feel this and I don't want to feel it, but you know what? It's okay, because I've been riding such a high of joy that it's, you know, if I don't have it wavering at some point, then how am I still constantly growing? And I'm saying that's not to say that you can't grow through that, but you need to deal with adversity. Otherwise you'll run from it, because every moment you want to be peace, and life isn't always going to be like that. And you know, life is beautiful in a way where you have your good moments and your bad. You got to take the good with the bad, but you grow through both. Because it's joy, it's beautiful moments in those times, and you come out a better person if you're honest with yourself and be ready for that journey, because your history is your history. It's a part of who you are. It doesn't define you. It doesn't make you who you are, but it's a part of your journey. It's a part of your love story for you. It's a part of when you get to a place where you feel like you are feeling the joys of the joys. It's because you were able to embrace the times where you weren't your best self, but you loved you enough to work through that to get to that place. And that's what I've been doing. Rehabilitating myself to say, hey, you know, to those who've been reaching out directly for me, I know, like with you, Jay, be like, hey guys, you know, like I had people reach out, hey, you okay? Jay reached out and I expressed, like, you know what? I know it's beautiful for me in the season, because before I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have said, you know what? And you know me for so long. I wouldn't have said it. I would have been like, no, I'm good. But I said, no, you know what? No, I'm not okay. But it will be okay. And I know why. And I'm recognizing it and I'm doing the work so that I'll be okay. And I know you're part of my support system, and reaching out means a lot. And I will utilize that part as much as I can without overexerting you or myself and becoming codependent on that. And it's important to recognize those parts, guys, because if you can't compartmentalize through your emotions, you can overexert someone else too. And it could get to a place of toxicity if you are conflicted in how you feel and you don't know how to address it because you're not building the proper tools that's healthy for you.
Absolutely.
So this is like what I'm sharing now is what I'm learning in this process of my right now, where the emotion is going to come. It's going to be what it's going to be. But when you feel whole, you'll know, because you're doing the work, and I promise you, you be stronger for it in this process. So love yourself enough to face that adversity. Love yourself enough to face that mental barrier and give it that question. Why are you here again? All this work I've been doing personally, why are you here right now? What's my purpose? Why am I here? Why do I need to go through this? Why do I feel this pain? Why do I feel this hurt? Why do I relive certain traumas? That's because I'm choosing it, because I haven't properly addressed certain parts. So I need to face it for what it is, live in my now, because each second that passes is my history. So it's okay. So we just really want you to know that in this process of getting to a point where you're going to work on unlocking that full potential, and Jay, I'll let you elaborate more on that. But like, know it's okay to not be okay first and foremost, so that you can identify the areas within those mental barriers that you need to address so that you can be the best person you need to be for you to get to those steps to unlocking the best parts of you.
Right. And I think through all that, I think it is very important to be ready, to be prepared to understand exactly what your life is going to be like once you do unlock your full potential, whatever your destiny is, as you know, as long as you're continuing to chase it and follow that path. I mean, the universe has a weird way of getting you straight, man. Like, and I think what happens is that some people may not see those signs as they may not take those signs as something that they need to follow. They may go the opposite way. We're like, oh, well, there's some friction here, or there's something in my way that I can't push through. I'm going to go the other way. Instead of it being a test that you need to pass in order to get over that mental barrier or any sort of barrier that's put in front of you. So I think it's important that we understand that there is always going to be a challenge, right? There's always challenges in life that we're going to need to get across, that we're going to need to break through in order to get to realize that full potential, in order to get to the pinnacle of your own life. Those are the certain things that you're going to need to do. And I know you mentioned, again, being ready. I think you also have to be ready for growth itself. I think you have to be honest with yourself, as you were telling me about that story when you said you weren't feeling your best. You had to be honest, right? In the past, you probably weren't ready for what that full potential looked like, because you weren't ready to express yourself in that way, because it wasn't something that you were used to. It's not something I wasn't used to either. It's the same way. It's how we were raised. It's how we were, how we were brought up. It's just to suck it up and keep pushing through. Yeah. But it is vital that we express ourselves and that we let it be known that we're not okay, that we are going through certain things, so that we can stay here and help each other out, because that's what all that is for. I think on the other side too, it is quite important to live in an uncomfortable headspace, or to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. I know that's something we always say on the Acronis podcast, but that right there is growth in of itself. Because if you're willing to push yourself past those barriers that stopped you before from getting to the point where let's say you're an artist, but you were afraid of putting your stuff out there, because once you put your stuff out there, there may be people who like it, but there are also going to be people who hate it. There are going to be people who push you down, say this ain't art, I don't know what this is, this ain't brass, it belongs in the trash, right? Sorry, from SpongeBob. Anyway, it's it's one of those things where you have to be committed to something so much, you have to love it so much, that you have to be willing to put up with anything. You have to be willing to put up with the doubt that it will be put in front of you, just to test you, to understand that my full potential is going to be unlocked once I get past this barrier. Right? I mean, just imagine if you stopped as soon as you got that first challenge in front of you and went the other way. You wouldn't be where you were today. Imagine during the 21-3 method, if you stepped out on that porch, you stepped out down them steps, and you said, damn, it's too hot. Damn, it's raining. Damn, it's too windy out here, bro. I'm not going to be able to run against this wind. I just ate. This pasta's just sitting on me heavy. I got to go back in and sit down and chill. You didn't do any of that. You ran. You ran your ass off. You kept doing it over and over and over again until that thing became a habit after 21 days. And after that, you sustained it. We're over a year now. Yeah. And you're still going through it. You're still working. You still look great. You're still fit. You're still in shape. You're still killing it. Why? Because you decided that you were going to commit to the journey of fulfilling your potential. Yeah. That's why you're here now. So I think it is really understanding that what you're about to go through is going to be crappy. You're going to have some of the worst days that you possibly have, because now you're vulnerable to those things that you weren't before. You were hiding yourself from because you didn't want to face that. Now you're in it. You're living in it every day. You're like, bring it on. Exactly. You're in the trenches. You out here. You outside. And that's where you need to be in order to get to that next level.
Well said. Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. And it's a tricky thing, because I recognize that for me and my joy, I got to a place, honestly, guys, I started I was in autopilot mode. I was in autopilot mode where, hey guys, I got so much of this to give out. Hey, you want some? You get some. You get some. You get some. And
sharing the goodies.
Yeah, and it's it's something everyone's like, oh, yeah, take some.
I want.
But there are only few who were like, here you go.
Here you go. Take this.
Here you go. You get some. You get some of this back. And it's important to recognize those parts when you are in autopilot, because you start losing sense of like reality that like what got you to this point was the effort, was trying, where, even within the 21-3 method, it's designed for you to continue to go and grow through the process after that's done. And, I'm not perfect. I got to a place where I got comfortable because I got to a place where I had reached my potential in that season. You see, what worked for you in the season of what was at a certain point in your life, you have to adapt, adjust, and evolve. And if you get to a place where you just stay complacent because it's working, become safe. And then when something disrupted a little bit, it throws you off. And for me, I allowed a little bit of things to chink through my armor to distract that part from me, to the point that now I am at this place where, oh, guess what I got to do? I got to go back to the basics. I got to go back to the basics and do what I know how to do best. Because before, the difference is, which is why it's important to build these tools, is I didn't have that in my shed. So I've been pulling it out. And though the project is different, I got the tools that I need to tweak what I need to tweak about me. So Will 2.0 is serving up. So that's what's happening right now. So the level up that was there before, oh hell no, this is a whole new season that's about to come on. I'm ready. I'm ready for the emotions of what I'm feeling now. I'm taking it head on. I'm gonna tell you, when you get to a sense of awakening in yourself to tap into that part of you, it's ugly. It sucks. It's not gonna feel great. It's not roses and sunshine. It's the work that's ugly, behind the closed doors that you're doing for you. So it's like, I think I referenced something before about, working through a place of, like, for example, social media, how you scroll down the timeline and you see everyone's glass house and everything looks beautiful from the pictures that we see, the videos that we see, the postings that we see, everything looks glorious and amazing from relationships to an individual person that's beautiful, gorgeous, or funny, like, but you don't see the inner turmoil of what's really happening in that glass house. You only see the reflections on the outside of yourself or what you think is going on inward, because you're smiling at what you see. Right. But when you open that door, what's really happening in there is a void of emptiness for most people. And I'm sorry, I refuse to get back to a place where I feel that void of emptiness. So I recognize what I need to do in my house so that when others see that, it's genuine, and it doesn't become a place of self-serving to the world. Right. It's for me. And that's what it has to go back to, and protecting my state of being, staying in my affirmations as the why I got on this journey, my purpose, so that I, again, it's this cross compass, don't lose my way. Yeah. So I've been going back to the basics. I've been updating and tweaking things in this season to get me to where I need to be. So it's okay. Like you said, Jay, I agree with you absolutely that it's okay for it to be ugly. It's not supposed to be beautiful or pretty. At all. And it's cool. And, hopefully you have a support system of folks that you can reach out to, reassess that. It's important too. Reassess that, as I had to learn recently. Reassess your support system about who's for you, because if they are, their actions going to show. And even in those moments, it may be ugly, but they won't run away. They won't run away. They would understand and work through it so that both parties are healthy, no matter how it goes and the outcome goes. And that's what I learned hard slashes with certain folks recently, where it was like, ooh, okay, that's not healthy. Like, shouldn't hurt like that. But you know what? I'm growing through what I go through, and it's okay. And you wish them the best for them, but you got to focus in your season for you. You gotta come first. You gotta put yourself first. And then we talked about the art of self-love. Yes. And it's very important that you're up there. You have to take the time for yourself, because you matter. You're so damn worth it, as you always say. You're so damn worth it, man. So I think I love that analogy with the shed. Look, I think what happens is that sometimes we get discouraged because we don't even get to where the basics are
in order to go back to it, right? There's nothing to go back except for the bottom. So you got to get to the basics first. You got to set up that tool. You got to build that foundation before you can move up to the next level, so that when you do fall, the foundation is right there.
There you go. You got
the tools are right there. The basics are there, so you know where to start from instead of starting from scratch.
Exactly.
You got to get up there.
Exactly.
You got to push through. You got to push through that crap to get there, though.
Yeah.
You got to push through it. So just be patient. Understand that it will come. You will have your time in the sun. That's how the universe works. As long as you keep putting in work, as long as you keep staying gracious, you keep practicing that gratitude, say your affirmations, you understand what goal setting is all about, you read the 21-3 method, and I guarantee you that success is not only going to come to you, but you'll be able to sustain it. And that is what's vital. That's what's important. Lifetime of success. What could be better?
Just that part right there. Just that part right there.
Look, this was yet another great episode, man. This is just what we do. You know, after a very, very tough week, this is where we are. We've been able to come together by the grace of God and share this message with you again from the top of our domes, from experience. We've been through this. We had to go through it to get here. And this is where we are in front of you. That's how the universe works. So, ladies and gentlemen out there, if you are part of this community, you've been watching the Acromis podcast. Again, you hit that subscribe button. You hit that notification bell so that whenever you get the Acromis podcast on YouTube, you will be one of the first ones to see the newest episode. And
it's free.
I can't do it.
It's not going to cost you a thing, guys. It's not going to cost you anything but time and investing into you. That's all it is.
That's all it is. That's incredible. Yeah. I can't believe this wasn't free before.
Well, they didn't have us. It wasn't time. It wasn't time.
Preach.
But
preach.
Hold on to these gems in this vault that we're building to share with you in the world.
Yep. And to our community, look, we talked about overcoming barriers. We talked about getting towards your full potential and unlocking that for your own life. But we want to hear from you now. You heard from us. You heard our experiences. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your experience. You tell us how you overcame those barriers in your life. Tell us how you were able to unlock your full potential, or if you're still on that journey, let us know about that. The best story that we receive will not only be on the beginning of the next episode of the Acromis podcast, but we will also feature your story on our Acromis podcast page.
Absolutely. So we really look forward to it. We want to learn and grow with you as well. You know, we give out gems, but we receive them too.
Absolutely.
We want to be able to share that with the community, you know, from a place of growth. And again, remember, it's okay to not be okay and to grow in a place of being uncomfortable, because that's where you get the best results for you.
Absolutely. And, you know, speaking of being uncomfortable, I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record. I don't even care, but you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's the only way you're going to be successful. If you want the key to life, you want the key to success, the key to getting up here in your own life, that is what it is. The people who have made ways in their life have gone through some of the toughest situations to get to where they were. They had to be vulnerable. They had to live a life of being out there, of putting themselves in some of the toughest positions in order to make things work. And by the grace of God, they were able to do it. But the reason why they are where they are now is because they did it with haste. They did it quickly. They knew where they had to go and they ran towards that brick wall in order to smash it through, right? They just kept chipping away until they were able to dive in a little bit. And as soon as they gave in, it was game over. As soon as they got right in, it was game over. So for the next episode, next Sunday, what we want to teach you is how to fail fast. That sounds kind of weird though, right? Failing? We're teaching them how to fail?
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about. Yeah. Yeah. We are kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, we are. Just think of it as, you know, we all probably had it as a kid when you run too fast and you trip and you fall over yourself.
You're right. It's a fast fail.
Yeah.
It's a fast fail. What happens? I kind of learned.
What did we learn from that?
Got right back up, kept going. And that's all that there is to it. The quicker you fail, the quicker you will get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
You are literally in your own way. We literally talked about it tonight. Overcoming mental barriers. Get out of your own way. Stop being your worst enemy. Be your best friend. Be the person that you love. The person that you see in the mirror is who you love. Remember that. Remember that. And next Sunday, you will learn how to fail fast and effectively learn from your mistakes, because you don't want to repeat them. You don't want to be in the same spot that you were last year. Hell, even yesterday.
Nope.
You want to fail forward. You want to fail fast. That's how you get success.
Grow through what you go through.
Preach. Man, look, and I know there are some people out there that have not been privy to the Acromas podcast. This might be your first episode watching. If it is, welcome. If it is not, you need to know by now exactly who we are. But it's okay. Spell it out for you.
Let them know, Jay.
ACHROMOUS. We are on YouTube. We are on Spotify. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. And we're even on TikTok. Boom. We're everywhere. There is no excuse why you can't find this. Yeah. None
left. Not at all. And word to the wise, you know, summer's getting ready to wind down soon, so it's gonna get a little cold, fellas and ladies. So you're gonna be bunkered in a little bit on Sunday. So you might want to hold tight to these gyms.
Yeah, hold
especially
tight to these gyms.
Locking down and everything again.
Look, hey, the Acromas store is still open.
Yeah, it is.
If you haven't visited it, there's still a chance for you to get your hot bod on.
Yeah.
Promo code hot bod will get you 20% off everything in the store. Sweatpants, sweatshirts, hoodies, t-shirts, cell phone covers, bottles, mugs. My goodness, it's right there. Why would you not? Why would you not make yourself feel special, or anybody else in the community feel special? All of your loved ones need to feel special as you continue to overcome these mental barriers, as you continue to fail fast, as you continue to get to the apex, the pinnacle, the top of your own mountain. Why not do it with the brand Acromas? Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. It is yet another great Sunday.
It is.
And we hope you have a blessed week. Stay safe out there. Kiss your loved ones. Hug them.
Yeah. Hold them close.
And until next Sunday, it's your boy, J.H. Gibbons.
And we'll see.
Peace.